According to investigators, the 7 people were standing outside of a residence when an unknown vehicle drove up, stopped, rolled down the windows, and proceeded to fire at the victim standing outside of the home. 7 people were struck. 3 of the people that were injured are juveniles, and the other 4 are adults. We don't know how many suspects there are. Witnesses are still being interviewed, but there are multiple casings on the ground.
We're getting a lot of rain, and then I thought it was hailing. And then the window to my room blew in, and I figured it was a little more than hail. I lost the top of my chimney, a lot of the fascia, some shingles. Like I said, the window upstairs blew in. Other than that, I think we lost a total of 6 trees.
And the limb came off of this tree and hit the truck and damaged it. We have a big dent right here to the hood.
All of the homes are safe except for minor damage, but everybody is safe, and that's what we're thankful for.
Have you ever seen something like this? You wonder how this happened?
Never. I did wonder how it happened, so I had to see it for myself. I didn't believe it.
Thank you very much, Jamal. I appreciate it. Just one of the many people, take a live look over my shoulder here, who are coming out to take a look at the sign. And there you go. Live look. The Hollywood sign now reading Hollyweed. Now, the LAPD says this happened around 3 a.m. They saw the male suspect on surveillance, all dressed in black. They say that he scaled up the mountain, then climbed the fence, getting into the sign, and then climbing up on to each of the letters there. He apparently used tarps to cover part of the O's to turn them into E's.
Look at this. Oh, weird. Quite the sky, boy.
I'm near the town of Stella in the northwest province of South Africa, and this area is known as one of the dry areas suffering serious drought, and the farmers around here really do need help because there's just not enough grazing for their cattle. And well, today is one of those weird days where it actually does seem like it's going to rain. If you look at some of the clouds back there and way back there where it is actually already raining, but the rainfall, and we're already halfway through the rainfall season, is way below the normal average, and these people still do need a lot of help. And if the rain holds out, I'm going to take up the Phantom and see what it looks like from the air.
the sky to the left of the moon. Is that the thing that Karen Maria's been getting on video? Is that what that is? The moon, and it's the upper left of it. It's really bright. I thought it was a plane. That's a star? It's not even dusk yet. You can't see with the stupid camera though, I don't think. There it is, see? Dude, that's bright. What is that?
China plans to raise its car emission standards to a new level. The new national 6th emission standard is one of the strictest in the world and will apply to all vehicles in 2020.
这个空气污染，它的贡献量越来越大。
Air pollution from car emissions is becoming increasingly prominent, and that is pushing China to raise its emission standards.
提高它的这个排放标准。
The new national 6 standards have stricter limits and more requirements over testing procedures and the prevention of fuel vapors evaporating into the air. By the end of 2015, China had over 170 million automobiles. 40 cities now have more than 1 million cars each. 11 cities have more than 2 million.
Well, you made it. You got a waterman. When it started.
This month, storm after storm in California has stalled traffic on major highways and complicated holiday travel out of Los Angeles International Airport. But the rain also refilled reservoirs and dropped feet of fresh powder on the slopes. After 5 years of drought conditions, scientists are optimistic.
This much rain in December in LA, it's news.
NASA climatologist Bill Patzert says even though a dry La Nina winter typically follows a heavy El Nino year, recent rain is proving those predictions wrong. After months of consistent showers, 17.5% of California has been pushed out of the drought, so far all up north.
This is a precursor for our really wet months, January, February, and March. This could put a huge dent in the punishing western drought.
3 powerful quakes struck near Hawthorne, Nevada. They were felt from San Francisco to Las Vegas, and there were more than 100 aftershocks. No serious injuries or damage, but John Blackstone says scientists see the swarm as a seismic wake-up call.
When a 6.7 magnitude earthquake rocked Northridge, California in 1994, there was no sign it was coming, as is often the case with major seismic activity.
We have foreshocks before about half of our big earthquakes in California, but they aren't usually coming as a swarm. You know, with Northridge, there was nothing before it at all. The San Fernando earthquake didn't have any. The Loma Prieta earthquake didn't have an immediate swarm. It had a magnitude 5 2 months beforehand.
It was a swarm of quakes that rattled people living in and around the remote town of Hawthorne, Nevada, Wednesday. The rumbling began just after midnight local time with a 5.7 magnitude quake. 4 minutes later, another equally powerful one hit the same area. A third registered 5.5, followed by more than 100 aftershocks throughout the day. Graham Kent is director of the Seismological Laboratory at the University of Nevada, Reno.
The question that everybody wants to know is there going to be a fourth one or a larger one, and that we don't know, but historically in Nevada we've seen trends where that can be the case.
Back in September, a swarm of seismic activity along the Salton Sea prompted scientists to warn of an increased risk of a big earthquake near the San Andreas Fault.
All it takes for the world to turn upside down is 7 months. One by one, the mighty fell. Their ideas were rejected, their plans burned, their worldview shattered. 2016 was a heck of a year. The West has swung right, or sort of edged right, really, or center. It's getting really hard to tell.
He was motivated by far-right views.
Far-right has taken advantage.
Far-right National Front Party.
Far-right extreme. It's the strangest thing. They call Trump a right-wing conservative, yet he's for raising the minimum wage and against globalization. They call Merkel a leftist, yet she championed austerity and privatization. Not so long ago, being wary of immigration was considered perfectly normal. Now, that makes you a far-right nutcase.
The European community qualify as populist everybody who doesn't agree with it.
But political polarity is not all that's changed. 2016 is the year that journalism fell into a death spiral.
So I now say truthful, not neutral. There's a difference.
Yes.
Truthful is bringing the truth. Neutral can be creating a false equivalence between this fact and that.
Here are two examples of truth. An aggressive pit bull attacked its owner. That's absolutely true. It did. Now, here's another truth. The owner was cruel and regularly beat the dog. That's also true, and it's the other side of the story. It changes the narrative. Telling both is what makes journalism. Now, here's the kicker. What Christian Amanpour is telling you, what CNN is telling you, is that you don't need to hear both sides of the story. They will choose the version, the truth you need to hear.
And I really want you to know that I go out of my way to bring you the truth.
And if you want to know what's in store, look at the media's coverage of the US election, acclaimed as the most biased and one-sided in recent history. But then again, the world is changing.
You have a tendency, just looking at it from the outside, to doubt American intelligence when it comes to Russian hacking. I'm trying to just better understand why it seems that way.
Well, I just want them to be sure, because it's a pretty serious charge, and I want them to be sure. And if you look at the weapons of mass destruction, that was a disaster, and they were wrong. And so I want them to be sure. I think it's unfair if they don't know. And I know a lot about hacking, and hacking is a very hard thing to prove. So it could be somebody else. And I also know things that other people don't know, and so they cannot be sure of the situation.
We have breaking news out of Turkey. There's been a terror attack at a nightclub in Istanbul.
Tragedy and fear in Istanbul minutes into the new year. One gunman is said to have shot a police officer and a civilian before heading into the packed train nightclub and opening fire.
As many as 30 people injured in a shooting during New Year's Eve celebrations at a nightclub in Istanbul. That is according to Turkish broadcasters. Local reports saying the two gunmen fired on police before storming a nightclub. Some 500 people were inside the club at the time of this attack. First responders seen outside, as you can see here as we take a live picture. It's about 3:14 a.m. local time in Istanbul, in Turkey's largest city. Police and explosive experts are currently on the scene, searching the club at this moment, we are told.
I was facing the back. My husband told me to get on the ground. Then a man came. We were near the windows. We got on the ground. My husband was on me. They fired the guns. 2 or 3 people shot. Then there was a kind of fog and I fainted.